I turned down the sound on my music, but I still haven't said anything. Kind of crashing out the last couple days. I had a game plan of painting polished and refined work that takes time and based on intention and concept. And after doing that for like a couple weeks, I just started to crash out, and all my concepts just, there's no energy to bring to life. So I'm back to a strategy of just painting, which, if you isolate that, is a really good thing, but it causes a lot of, not stress, but internally it's a pretty chaotic place right now inside my mind. You can even see that with what I'm literally doing right now. Like I had an initial concept. I painted like an Archangel or something a month or so ago, and I like it a lot. It's a very abstract, and so I just wanted to go with that. Angel of death and angel of life, like this combat battle with the world on fire. And so I guess it makes sense that I'm doing this. However, it doesn't feel good, believe it or not. It feels harmful. No, it feels kind of like I'm banging my head against a wall. But I just need to create something today, because I spent the last couple days trying to orchestrate something, and I couldn't let another morning go by where I wasn't getting paint on the canvas. But I almost feel like this is just spinning my wheels. So that's not necessarily very cathartic. Art creating can be very meditative and cathartic. It can also be really aggressive and confusing. And I actually got to turn the music right off just in case. So I'm not even sure what I'm looking for yet, other than I did have that initial kind of idea of another Archangel. But yeah, it's almost like nothing feels right. So that's why I use words like harmful and battle and conflict, and just nothing feels right. So I just put some paint on to see if I can see anything. Again, I won't mislead you. I do have the idea of doing an angel, but if I see something else, it will shift on a dime. It'll change on a dime. I'm using acrylics right now. So flip-flopping from concepts to styles of painting I really recommend it, but it's harmful to your health. Because there's no consistency or kind of grounding elements that sometimes I'm looking for in my art to provide me like a therapeutic operation. And right now, I can paint like this and it's very therapeutic, but because of the kind of the weeks I've had lately and the build up and the kind of going against my strategy, that's why it doesn't feel very wholesome. And I don't want to just paint something completely demented, so I'm not even fighting that, like something that's just horrific or ghoulish or gratuitous. I'm trying to see if I can find some beauty. I don't mind it being like balanced with some darkness. And knowing me, like if that's where it goes, it goes. If it gets really dark, so be it. But that's not my straight out intention. One cool thing is I am starting to, before I was doing live videos and talking, and it just kind of throws me off, especially because I have to edit videos and stuff, and so I don't know how to really balance that. But I am starting to talk while I'm painting, so it's like literally just echoing the thoughts in my mind and saying them out loud. And I've done this like probably 10 times over the last couple months, and I haven't posted one video. So then, like, who's this conversation for? I don't know, maybe at one point I'll go through them. But I think if the painting takes too long, I don't want to go through the footage and pull out my dialogue and that lasts, 3 or 4 hours of recording a video, which is often how long they take. They take usually like 2 or 3 days, and then I record 4 hours of it, 3 or 4 hours of the process. And that's just a slog to go through and then actually like make a video that's somewhat watchable. I just felt a sense of kind of contentment or something pleasant in doing this. I am pretty detached. I just keep flipping back from painting with different brushes, rough brushes, and all my acrylic brushes are very battered and beaten, so there's no, I'm never really looking for any sort of refinement or elements that are really everything is very rough. And like, if I had to be honest, like I used to paint like this. I don't think I'm lying when I say like 20 years ago. This is kind of, this part is very, it's almost like me at my earliest stage of painting and creating art is painting like this. And so it's nice to see it, even after all this time, the discovery process, the hunting processes, it's still exactly the same. I've just refined my skills over the years. And the reason I did that is because if I have something to say, I want to be able to say it as accurately or as best as I can. So I've really put some time and energy over the decades so that my execution can match the visions in my mind. Get a little bold now. I was going to say, I don't see anything, but my immediate reaction to that thought was just give it a second. You don't need, like, you will start to see things. You don't need to rush and say, I don't see anything, and then just go ham. Even when you're being aggressive and you're lost, you can have a pace that keeps you somewhat grounded, even though this is a complete mess. And now I've even gone back to okay, well, aren't you painting an angel? And then I said to myself, oh yeah, I'm painting an angel, but I'm starting to see like a head shape, which is pretty standard for me. That's fine. Can I build off of the head, or do I want an angel? Pause. Relax. Breathe. Jeez. Breathe. One thing does get easier when I'm talking to you. It's not as distracting as it used to be. Like getting over the self-consciousness and the concerns of the camera. That's nice to be. I'm glad I've gotten past that. That's kind of rewarding in itself, because I used to find it so intrusive and disturbing, and like a deficit, like a liability. It disrupted my workflow. I'm glad I'm glad I'm kind of used to the camera. Even like 5 years ago, if you said I had to record and post videos and stuff like that, I was so against it. I rebelled against it for way too long past. Like I kind of missed out on the early generation of exposing art in a new way. So when you have a bunch of mud, which I have right now, just adding some strong, bold, not scratched elements in there, you can start to see something. Doesn't mean you're going to land there, but you're just getting some blocks to see if you combine the blocks with the mud. You'll be able to see, like, kind of like back to what I've been harping about for years, like the Rorschach test, right? You hold these images, these abstract images, and what can you see? Because I'm kind of taking away from some stuff to highlight other areas to see if there's anything there. I keep wiping my palette knife even, because I'm trying to get blocks of color, like I said, so that I can we're still at a place where nothing is sacred or important. Even the ideas, like, where did the angel go? Is she going to come back? Is it a face now? Who knows? I start to get frustrated, and I'll push in certain directions, and that helps too. Because even if you push, doesn't mean it's going to come together. So that's fun. There's all kinds of things that happen with your creative process that will help you find the end result, whether it's frustration, coercion, delicacy, complete madness, aggression. Because I might even spawn an entire concept that needs to be really worked from the beginning from here too. So maybe I'm all of a sudden I get oh no, I have an idea that's not abstract at all, and I need to go in a full direction, or it even might create a new painting for the next one. Oh right, that's a great idea, where it's not even going to take place in this piece, it's going to be the next piece or down the road, or I write it down and I incubate it. So this process generates, it's a generation to process. And even as I talk all this shit out loud, it's important not to take it seriously. I'm just echoing the voices in my mind and my experience. And when I do this, I'm seeing some morbids, it's pretty dark. So it's just the way it goes in my world, but it doesn't always have to be. It doesn't have to be completely scary. And scary paintings, just for those listening, are harder to sell than something that's more digestible. Does that play a role in my current process? No, but it's something I have a closet full of dark paintings, right? So, but if it's dark and it's good, so be it. But just based on my experience, there is a market for dark art. It's just smaller than the market for cute, adorable. I was thinking earlier, I was going through images and imagery, painting the Care Bears because the world's on fire. Maybe I should just go do a 180 and just paint some cute stuff. And that idea, I'll incubate that idea. I have this idea of some Care Bears holding balloons and floating in the sky. That can still happen. Maybe not with this piece, but I might get the motivation. I might find the inspiration to paint something just straight cute out of the gate, intentionally cute. It's really hot in Thailand right now, extremely hot. So these paints are drying extra fast. I'm kind of seeing the Flash. I do when I'm painting like this, dry time working in my favor is definitely an advantage. I don't know if you've ever guys seen a Crayola. He uses a heat gun to dry his acrylics. In mid-stroke, he'll start using a heat gun. And I remember the first time I saw that guy painting was, probably a decade ago. What a pioneer and a great painter. But because it's so hot, it's like a heat gun on this piece right now. And that's with my aircon going. Some of this is dry to the touch. And they're pretty thick strokes. So I'm going to try to see what happens here. Trying to add some intention, even though there's no direction. That's really the best way I've said it so far. I'm adding intention with no direction. You can see this brush, it's totally battered and worn and almost like in other cases completely useless, but it's perfect for this right now. It doesn't allow me to make, it allows me to have intention, but it doesn't allow me to have too much direction or too much control. Obviously I see this like kind of red helmet or hood in the face. Can I see anything else?
Tastes like happy person.
Had a had a good long break, lunch, went to 7-Eleven. So with this, I actually took some photos of it to see what I could see in it, like on my computer screen, on my phone screen. And just decided to like take the easy route, or like give into the obvious here. So just saw obviously like the inevitable face, or the obvious face, which is kind of, again, like it goes against what I anticipated. But and again, like you remember I was mentioning, like this stuff won't sell, and that's okay. You know, as far as creation is concerned, it doesn't matter if it sells or not. But at the end of the day, as somebody who survives off their art, I need it to be somewhat digestible at certain times. Sometimes I let myself have complete, I disregard that kind of, those notions or those ideas 100%. But I just kind of wanted something like, not necessarily just the fact that it's disturbing won't sell, but like, I think I just want to like right now, the fact that it's so chaotic, not so much the subject matter, but it's so chaotic and like messy, that can inhibit, that can be a deterrent for, so it just made me question that. Again, is that the right or the wrong thought process for art? It's kind of irrelevant because I just keep painting anyway. It doesn't matter if I'm like, oh, I want it to sell, or this will never sell. I don't stop painting. So even kind of like telling you that sounds almost like I'm so concerned with sales. Because whether I'm concerned with sales or not concerned with sales, I still don't know whether this will sell or not, and I'm still painting anyway. But it's shit that goes through my mind, that's all. And sometimes I do set out from the jump like, oh, I got to paint something that will sell. I do that. And I'm not ashamed of that. Right now, is I guess my point is just, this is not one of those times. It looks kind of like one of those anatomy heads. Right, like the muscle head, like the muscle and tissue. I think you should paint things that sell. The more I'm just thinking about that in my head, I'm just kind of going through like, what am I saying there? I think there's a balance of pure creativity and mayhem, and then something that's digestible to the masses. Being a full-time artist, that do not let someone tell you that that's not important. Just paint what's in your heart. Well, after 20 years of just painting what's in your heart, you'll learn right fucking quick. But the cool thing is that having that collision and that conflict of painting something that will sell and painting something that's deep within your psyche, oh, that collision could be good. You know what I mean? That collision could be good. I don't want this painting to go on forever, so now I'm just looking at it objectively, like what can I do with it, honestly, from now? Do I go back into the abyss and just pull out something totally different? Or do I go all in on what's in front of me? And both those options are not about a painting that will sell or not, unfortunately. Because we're in the abyss. I like it. It's cool. I'll keep this still and maybe throw it on the t-shirt. The still in itself is interesting. Very aggressive strokes, and just there's some major clumps. Essentially, it's like a pre-sanding. Now, I'm just simply going off of the direction that I'm currently at. So let's just again, I'm going to touch on it again. Like I'm going to pose the question in a different way. Should you make art that is aimed to sell? Yes. The simple answer is yes. But if you're painting full time, you're going to have so many pieces that don't focus on that at all as an objective. So I don't think I need to worry about how I'm telling you guys that, because it seems like I'm probably saying something that most artists or people that you see on the internet are telling you. You know, that's not the purpose of art. The purpose of art is to express yourself. Yes, I agree. If you want to paint full time, it needs to find a home. So there's a balancing act. Right now, who on God's green earth is going to pay $10,000 for this? Somebody might if I'm dead. You know what I mean? Somebody might pay 10 G's for this if I've left the planet. It'd be a fun experiment. I have so much art I could do. I could post this on my art store as 10 grand. See if it ever sells. while I'm alive. Here's something I will say. How much I obsess over a sale is pretty insignificant. So as much as I am concerned about it, and I think about it all the time or often, you can see in my as I'm talking, does it fucking matter? I guess not. Wow, what a contradiction, what a flip-flopping thought experiment. Like if the government gave me, hypothetically, the government gave me, a really good living just to create work with the intention that, oh, you don't need to ever worry about one single sale, I'd be painting this. And I would also be painting the work that could sell as well, based on my experience. This is pretty cool. The coolest? No, but pretty cool. It'll be a cool video too when I speed this up. I'm trying to find my way. Let's see if I can wrap up my conflicting and my thought process on selling art. I know for me, here's the real takeaway. I was speaking to somebody today about this. They were asking me about prices and stuff. It's really important for my work to find a home. That is really important. And that obviously comes with some sort of financial transaction. Yes, I want $10,000 for this. If I got $300 or $400, including shipping, that would be pretty damn cool. And this piece finds a home and they hang it on their wall and their kids see it or their neighbors see it or their friends see it and they talk about it, I win. Yes, hopefully as I get older, it's, $5,000, $1,000, I don't really obsess about that. But I do like selling art. I like when they find homes, people invest in it. That is really important to me. And I won't deny that. But I think why it's so conflicting is because regardless of my motives, I'm painting and that's all that matters really. I'm creating. Whether my motives is to become a billionaire, you know what I mean? Like regardless of my motives, if I'm creating, something's going to come from that. I hate this piece right now. So anyway, that's all I'm going to say about the financial burden or element to creating. Finding a home is such a beautiful thing. It's almost as important as the creation. Especially after you've been doing it. Like if you're just painting for the first, early in your career or then maybe not. Just creating, finding yourself in the creation process is probably more important for you. Cool. But when some people invest in my work and they're so excited to get it, that's kind of unmatched, an unmatched experience. I guess I'm not done with this topic because if you took like a good counter argument to what I'm saying is like a Van Gogh, right? The legend is he didn't sell a fucking thing till he died, but he was still painting. I'd probably fall in that camp, but I just prefer not to, right? Like I prefer to make a living off of what I do. It's just preference. Would I still be? I've painted the majority of my career very poor, so like a poor artist. worrying about cat food, and that's the majority of my career. And then I've had some really great months, some good years even. And I still paint, whether there's money in the bank or no money in the bank. So I'm just telling you my experiences and the lessons I've learned and how I personally feel about selling art. I think there's also certain people that are better at selling art than I am. They have a knack for it. Like that, the argument for that is Andy Warhol. Didn't he say like making money is art, or business? I think making money is art, something along those lines. And I actually kind of agree with that. I think there is an art form to it. But I think the other thing is, like, I'm thinking about making money while I'm talking to you and painting. Look what's happening. Still very detached from what's happening here. Again, I'll just tell you what's echoing in my mind. Oh my God, do we have an angel after all? Maybe, man. Oh my God. Is there an archangel after all? Well, geez Louise. The angel of poverty. No. Yes. No. Who would you rather have on your wall? Besides, like, take out the monetary value, because I think a Van Gogh is more, obviously, be worth more than a Warhol, to my understanding. But would you rather have a Warhol or a Van Gogh on your wall? Not so much even story, just style. Style, as Bukowski said. What style? Does Warhol have style? Van Gogh has obviously a more interesting story, just almost objectively. But the style of like the Marilyn Monroe or the Elvis Presley or the Money versus like Starry Night, I'm kind of more in the Warhol camp, to be honest. Like almost like I would like, I think like a Warhol print on my wall than the Starry Night. His skeleton's pretty dope though. And same with the some of the self-portrait and stuff. Okay, something happened there. I think maybe like, are we gonna go breasts? Are we gonna go breasts? Are we gonna have wings or not? The wings aren't really coming together for me. I wanted wings. Now it looks like an owl. So now what's... We can shape it a bit. I'm like on a fine line between this is absolute dog shit and I got something. That's where you want to be. This is absolute dog shit and you've got something, sir. You've got absolute dog shit, sir. Congratulations. Oh. One kind of cool thing is doing this so long is definitely be really hard on yourself, which is, I think, a great thing. But you can also be really gentle and kind and supportive to yourself too. There's room for both. I think you should be vicious with your own personal criticism. But when you see something you like, it's okay to praise it. In fact, it's just as important as your own criticism. To go, hey, that's good. You're going somewhere. So it's like when I say it's absolute dog shit and you've got something, I'm not lying, but now I've already leaned into, oh, I think I got something, and it's okay to like have a little confidence there. I think I do have something, and I'm happy I got it on camera. Sometimes when I'm really playing around, I stop recording and just let it, but as I talk to you, I even think I have something enough to make a video. I really hope I get to publish this video this time. Like I said, like there's so many times I'm talking as I'm painting, especially as a recent, and just I don't upload it because the painting essentially is going to take too much time. So I'm not going to edit the video, a 4-hour video, or for the silly words that I'm spouting. But in this case, we might finally have it. So if you're hearing this might be one of the first times that I echoed the sounds in my brain, or in a long time. I think this is the Archangel though. That's it. Oh, she's beautiful. I'm kind of dead serious. So I see some stuff here. I really do. Some of you really want to leave loose. Some of you want to tighten it up. This is definitely a stylistic kind of experiment based on experience. Like I want to leave some of the muddiness and the confused elements, but then you want to build off of the strong portions. And yeah, this is really fun. One cool thing too is like, okay, let's imagine just off the top of my head, like, okay, this painting's worth some ungodly amount of money. Like it just blows up and it's worth so much. If you said, hey, paint it again, like, yeah, right. I could copy this, but I couldn't find this again. So that's kind of what I was talking about earlier. I'm glad I got this on camera because kind of just came together where I really found something, and I'm attached to it. That doesn't mean you need to be. It might be laughing in your chair. But I am attached to this. That feels really nice because it's hard to get attached to something when you paint it every day for 2 decades. It's hard to find something that makes you feel something. So does this need to be money? Maybe not. Oh, I'm so happy. You can hear it in my voice. I'm so happy. This is like the joy of painting. Because even if I took a break and come back and say, no, I was wrong, there's nothing here. Right now, I do not feel that way. I'm very honestly content with this, especially being like an angel. Giving angels like a new rebranding angels. I let this fester for a number of minutes. Again, I like to take photos of it and look at it on my computer or my phone and see if there's anything that, just like a different perspective. You've might have heard that people turn the painting upside down or squint your eyes or use a mirror. Kind of the same thing. When you just take a photo of it on your phone, you can see it differently, even though it's the same, but it changes how you look at the piece. So now I'm just playing within the confines of what's here. Before, remember, I was like circling everywhere, just very abstract, very subconscious, unconscious even. Now I made a decision clearly to paint within the confines to see if I can bring this kind of to light and to see if there's anything here. And you know what? After all that babbling and pontificating, maybe there's nothing here. I don't know yet. I think there is, so I'm taking that direction. I think there's something here. But my subtle hesitation is because when I was looking at it and I took a break, I didn't come back totally like, yes. Came back to, okay, let's see. And I gauge my self-awareness quite heavily. So is there something here or not? I'm not sure. Sometimes I just know, yes, I got something. And sometimes, no, I don't know. Loses steam. I haven't lost all hope, but I just also don't have full steam ahead. But if I take my time and just put a little energy, a little effort into this isolated area, and was giving it a little attention, even though it's pretty loose, just give it a little attention to see what forms and what is awaiting. And it's really okay if there's nothing there. It's fine. But if there is something here, I'd love to find it now, like getting a little restless. I'm getting a little restless. I did do some research. It's Archangel. I thought it was Archangel. Arch. Or at least that's what I saw. Do I see an angel in here? I don't know, kinda. I really want there to be an eye here, but maybe there's just not. Like if I accept that this is the head, or maybe it can be both. Maybe there's like two heads, kinda. Maybe there's like a face, the upper, the brow, the eye line here, the eyes, and then there's another face here. That might inspire me. That's kind of interesting. If I can pull that together. This doesn't matter down here then. It can just be like flabs of flesh. But if this is like an eye line, and then this is a head here, and these are arms or wings, like chicken wing arms, that's interesting. Like raw, like uncooked chicken wing arms, that's cool. Even saying that, oh man, like painting chicken wings interests me right now. Oh my God, chicken wings. Like, like in the, like at the Costco where they just have like the metal box full of uncooked chicken wings. And you slide on the plastic glove, and then put them in a plastic bag. There's some imagery there. The uncooked chicken wings. See, like I have like energy around that. Am I going to abandon this painting and paint some chicken wings? That sounds so cool. Fuck. Oh, I even got an idea about it. Oh my God. That's crazy. So that's kind of the power of creating, right? It's undeniable. I'm really happy. Like, I'll write down that idea kind of in the next little few moments. It's chicken wings. Painting chicken wings. Oh my God. Yes. I'm really excited about that. Because I'll build off of that too. See where that goes. Sorry, I'm really caught up in my chicken wing. I'm really caught up in my chicken wing discovery. Fuck. Just trying to map it out in my mind. Like, have like imagine you spelling like letters in chicken wings, using them as like math, like chicken wing plus chicken wing equals something. Pretty hard to tell you what I'm thinking about right now because it's very abstract. But okay, so I have something here. Do I invest and go into oils? I think so. Because remember, right now I'm still using acrylic, very loose, very... Not unconscious because I am staying in with the confines. Just seeing if I can bring out some stronger imagery and like shapes. Even though it's all... I like it plump. I think that's good. Let's try... Oh, I got some brown left, so let's hit some brown. Maybe some of this orange brown. Let's see if I can just pull out some shapes within the shadows here. Like, is it going to come alive if I start bringing out some of the shadow? I kind of just had a thought process, like, so setting out with a concept from the jump versus finding it. So now that I have the chicken wing concept, like if I start a painting now that's dedicated to some sort of chicken wing fever dream, but like focusing on the realism of the chicken wing, I now have a concept from the jump to work with. Whereas this is the exact opposite. There's nothing here to begin with, and you're gambling because you might even end up with nothing, which is actually kind of rare, but there is that chance. And versus, okay, I have an idea, I know what I have a vision in my head, I have some reference photos of the chicken wings, and I'm gonna start plotting a painting from the jump. There's pros and cons to both. There's styles to both. And I go back and forth all the time, but it's actually quite an extreme battle in my mind. Like to paint a concept from the jump versus discovery and the hunting process of a painting. I think your most standard is people have an idea and then they paint that idea. I want to paint a picture of my cat. They get a photo of their cat, or it was still life of their cat, but they know they're painting a cat from the jump. I don't know about the majority, but let's say even just half of my paintings are the opposite. It's like I'm painting something to find my cat in the painting. Some sort of abstract surrealism. So I'm finding the art in the piece. But I also equally as much have, okay, I'm going to paint chicken wing, blah, blah, blah. I also do that from the jump too. And I battle with what's more beneficial to me as a painter all the time. I think both are valid and both are equally as important, but it is a battle. It's not, unfortunately, so straightforward. I can land in a place where I say, well, I need both. I need to do both. For me personally, as a painter, creator, I need to do both. That's kind of easier said than done or accepted. And because right now I can get very discouraged and it can become a bit of a battle. And then sometimes I have a painting and I have the reference photo and I just don't have the energy. It's kind of what happened today. I had some reference photos ready to go, had a direction, and I just couldn't pull myself together enough to do it. And so that can be a little bit discouraging and complicated and causes mania, typically, like very intense thoughts of confusion. I'm an angel. I'm slowly losing this eye. I'm shocked as much as you are. I'm an angel. I'm an angel. Goodbye. Give me a hug. Oh, the angel of hugs. Maybe we can pull this into a cute thing, actually. Here's a thought experiment. I kind of think the world needs some cute shit right now that's maybe silly or like kind of almost distracting, but distracting with cute shit. There's enough distractions right now in every other department, valid or invalid. That's very distracting. But even if I have this MO right now, I still can't control it. but I do see something kind of cute currently. Maybe we can pull out the chicken wings too. That'd be hilarious. I'm gonna really say goodbye to this eye. I'm shocked, but I kind of like it. I like it being a blob of flesh more than kind of really like this brow area, but didn't like it enough to keep it. Gonna go back to this shadow. Gotta be a little careful. I'm gonna be a little more gentle here. Decided to keep that. Shocking. Decided to keep that. It's shocking what happens when you kind of watch yourself paint from afar. It's weird. Sometimes there's clear intention and there's clear direction. Right now, that is not how I would describe what I'm doing. But I am keeping it in the confines of the body. Oh, it looks like flesh, kind of like peeled flesh. You know, have you seen those people that keep their deceased family members' tattoos? Looks like that. Let's sweat this. I don't want it to be so. And see, this kind of technique is very abstract in its nature because there's not very little control. It's not enough water here. Dip it in my little bucket. Because things are like semi-dry, or a lot of it is dry, that you can kind of get a little bit. It's okay that it's watery. I don't want anything too harsh or concrete or definitive, sorry. I just want some shadows and darker values. Gives me something to play with, and you see more when you have some more values happening, even in this abstract phase. Someone called me the schizophrenic Bob Ross when I was on stream. I thought that was something along those lines. Maybe not schizophrenic, but like manic Bob Ross. Because I'm just talking about absurdity and trying to make it make sense when it's just there's no sense to be made. But hearing my thoughts, I think good for me. A takeaway, even if you're kind of lost with what I'm saying. It might be nice to come back to this video in 2 decades from now and go, oh wow, you're really on to something there, bud. You were really diving in deep, giving the secrets to life here. But there might be some value in coming back to this and posting it for some of you that are a little wacky like me. Maybe you can get some takeaways from just creating and the process of creating, because telling you like a tutorial on how to paint is not my forte. There's really great artists and channels that teach you how to paint. I like to really dive into the concept of ideas and idea generation. Like even there's a lot of paintings that I was doing for a long time, early number of years ago now, but like where I was like, if I was a writer, I would want to I created images that I would hope help you generate ideas for writing, or like if you have writer's block, or even then there was like, okay, creative block. Like if you're trying to create something yourself, I would love to contribute to that. And so I would base my pieces like off of that. So it was a lot of stimulating imagery and shocking imagery and silly characters. And because I was like, oh, maybe this will give you some ideas. for your own work. It's kind of one of my underlining goals that's been consistent over the years is generating ideas and helping you. And because I really get off on that when other people help me with my ideas. And usually people will give you an idea and you don't really take their idea, but it sparks something else in you where you're like, oh, I'm not going to do that, but I am going to do this. Like something happens when just talking out loud with stuff. And some ideas are really sacred that you don't want to discuss with anybody else. I think it's important to keep them close to the chest, and I say don't share them with anybody. Kind of you learn as you go along which ideas you should share, which ideas you should keep to yourself. Okay, so we have like some good skin happening. There's no real imagery per se, but there is some skin tones, like a good back, a good base. So we're gonna do something. I'm gonna stick with the theme of the Archangel, but we're gonna do it in this childlike drawing of like a wing here. And I'm taking a gamble because I'm really hoping that it leads somewhere here. So I don't anticipate the entire painting to be like this, even though I can imagine it seems hard that I'm going to pull out of this area, this kind of style, but I am. I am going to pull out of here, but I just wanted this in first before maybe I did that, before I even break into oil. I wanted to have it like, I wanted the narrative of this painting to be about an angel. I'm just creating like a new version of like how I create new superheroes all the time. Just random superheroes that should exist, that don't exist. It's kind of like just like, those silly cherub paintings. Often done really well, but like the cherub kind of paintings. And now it looks like that fucking guy from SpongeBob. The star guy. So if I can paint some sort of like representation of a wing in some areas, and then even give it a little attention so that they're clearly wings. A lot of it is gambling, just a little less risk. So not betting the house here. And we can always kind of course correct. If I really butchered it and I thought, oh man, I don't want to go there, I can quickly turn this around. But I just thought there was probably some importance of going, hey, I understand that we really deviated from the original plan, and some of the plans along the way, we kept deviating. But let's see if we can just keep, bring it back to the underlining theme, because I did write it out in the beginning too. So there was some theme, some intention, like, hey, the Archangel of death, of life, of death, of life, of death and life. Hate it, but just bear with me. Hate it. And then my answer is good. Do something with it. Like that was just, I just kind of had a hunch. It's like basically a hunch. I had some sort of hunch. Be helping. maybe it's just about the color then? I don't know. I don't know. Is it just about the color? I guess so. That color's super fucking awesome. So maybe that was all it was about. I thought it was the wings though, I did. Maybe. Or maybe they're just behind, like they're not on the body. You see, it's really true to discover. So maybe the wings are there, but they're not in the forefront. And doing this, I really do love the color of the skin. That yellowy pink flesh is dynamite. Are we going to do anything with it? Who knows? But I like it right now. I think I'm going to go into oil. Come back in a jiffy. So because I'm keeping a lot of this recorded, I'm just showing you a stage that normally I would not record, because it's kind of like, it's not personal. It's just, I think and it's not just because it's boring. I just think like, okay, this is like off the record. I really mean, very rarely am I pressing record on the camera for shaping. Maybe this is like a bit of a shaping process. I was planning, because you even heard it, I was planning on just jumping into oil, and you would have saw that part normally when I record. But here you're seeing me shaping the character, and I think that'll make this painting stronger, more intentioned, more definitely stronger if I put some real intention around the shaping of this. Like, it's supposed to be like this, right? It's supposed to look like this. You know, why does it look like that? Because it's supposed to. That's what I'm doing right now. So I'm shaping with like sincere conviction and intention. Nothing is left confused. Stop. Still sculpting and bringing the figure to life with intention. Kind of dried a little bit. I let the fan on it, and I just noticed that I'm not ready to hit it with oil. Still acrylic, because I have the blue that's matched for the most part anyway to the background. So I'm just using my blue acrylic first to get, again, to really lock in the shape, and best word, to just have some intention with the shape that I'm going with, so that when I go with oils, we're going to be now, that's starting the refining process. And right now I am refining, but this is just a little more foundational before I often like the analogy of, like, there's different kind of carpenters. There's the framing carpenters, and then there's like kind of the rough, I think they're called the roughing carpenters. So once the frame's up, they come in after that and put in the doorways and stuff. And then you have the finishing carpenters. Very similar to the oil process for me anyway. Right now I'm still framing. I do see that SpongeBob character pretty predominantly, and I still am holding on maybe ignorantly to the idea of an archangel. I'm still confused about arch or arc. I gotta actually investigate. But I'm holding on to the idea of it being an angel, the angel we need. I'm holding on to the idea that maybe I can pull something kind of adorable, but maybe morbid. And I'm holding on to the idea of this being skin of sorts, like, so it is a figure, some sort of humanoid. Down here, I kind of like this Basquiat style. I don't want to cover it too much. I kind of like this, almost like stages. I think it's actually a pretty strong piece, believe it or not. It's just not there yet. So this really won't make sense, and it's going to be hard to convince you. But I'm looking at this, and I really want to go to oil, so I keep stalling on this in this particular stage, and I'm actually going back to what I originally kind of ran away from. But I can see this being done in oil, but I want wings. Like I really do want it to be an angel. So again, this is touch dry. So I let this blue dry to shape the image. But I just also want these crude kind of, so you can see there's more intention in even in my brushwork right now. Because I want this kind of hybrid childlike drawing and painting, before I go into like a realistic mindset. I can even work these lines again in oil, but I have decided like they're not going to really come onto the forefront. But I think if I really dive into the fact that, okay, I'm keeping this stuff, so if it's going to be this surreal abstract work with like realistic elements as I start to paint this, then I really do want these accents, this imagery to lead the viewer. It just needs it. And obviously you might be shaking your head right now, but I couldn't move on without doing, and you saw me do that now twice. So I'm glad I have that captured. I like it. Like I like that. So catch you in a moment. Probably just took 10 minutes, 15 maybe, away from here. Wrote down some ideas I had. Actually, I forgot the chicken wings. But what was coming up, do I have something here? I don't know. We'll find out right now. We've gone to oil. So it's changed how I look at the piece. It's changed everything. My mind has shifted into almost into a different place. But what I was thinking about saying was that do I really think I have something here? I don't know. Yeah. And I just thought that was kind of actually good to admit that out loud at this point in the piece. I do have enough experience where I know I can pull something out of my ass, that I'm personally content with. I've done enough of these enough of these experiments to know that I can make something look not necessarily aesthetically pleasing, but something that just has substance. I basically am just using the Zorn palette. I've said this enough times, like I don't want to really get into that department. I just want to really focus on how my brain works and the ideas and the concepts behind everything, about the step-by-step thought process versus painting process. But even the idea right now is just I need to need to cover it. I need to get the oil on the canvas, on the panel. There's no real, it's kind of like mid value. So no darks, no highlights, no lighter values. Just covering the painting with the matching the flesh color that's there already. And is something coming to life, I kind of am counting on a miracle, and the miracle is not that I just see something. I see something in the abyss. And maybe that's what those wings were for, is like, hey, I'm just trying to help you, like almost like a different part of me internally was just like, hey, I'm just trying to help you see something. And if I look at it like that, that actually feels really nice, that I would do that for myself. Hey man, I know you just erased these wings, but we're going to put them back because I need it, because if you plan on progressing in this universe or arena, I need you to have those wings there. I'm like, okay, fine, got it. The wings are there. I don't have any greens, blacks, or blues, which I typically have with my flesh. I just have my reds, my yellow ochre, and my brown sienna. Pretty translucent for the most part. We are dipping in the red right now. No rhyme or reason. There's no technique here. It's just I'm just getting a base of oil on top of my acrylic underbody, because I'm moving into oil, and I probably am. I don't know if I said this already. I don't think I have, but like this painting will be done today. So I will do everything in my power to make that happen. Making bold choices, making bold decisions, making heavy brushstrokes, adding on some making some big decisions because I'm just like, that way I think I might be able to upload this long diatribe and this long conversation with myself finally. Otherwise, it might be if I don't do that this time, I might get so discouraged where I don't want to, like, there's just no need to do it, because I'm missing out big time on music and podcasts. For obvious reasons, I can't have music playing in the background. That's been so discouraging, to be honest. I hope one day that's figured out, where I can listen to music. I guess I could wear like a headset and listen and flap my gums. Maybe that's an option. So I'm just trying to keep this conversation going, and that's why you'll catch me repeating myself or going over the same things again and again, because I'm just trying to keep this conversation going with
essentially it's just my internal dialogue. And I think one thing that I'm personally, that I think I'm good at, is just concepts and ideas. I get a million ideas. I'll exaggerate. I get a million ideas a day, different things all the time. I have books and books and books and phone notes of the ideas, and I write them down, and a third of them will come to life, and the two-thirds will remain dormant. But I just had, like, that's just one of the things that I personally have as I'd say as a quality, just ideas. Tons are just silly and useless, but they often lead to something else. So that back when you've heard as a kid, there's no dumb ideas. In the creative universe, that is pretty much true. There's dumb ideas when you have something already, and you're like, oh no, we're not going to do that. But typically, one idea leads to another, which leads to another, which leads to another. And that alone is so valuable, priceless. Okay, so see, there's like a bit of a ridge. So my first thing I saw, it's going to be really hard to explain, but I just saw this line here, which separates this curve. It's almost like there's a curve here, and then there's this body part or appendage or mound of flesh kind of protruding here, but it's separated by this line. And so what I'm thinking is, okay, I'm going to aim to keep that. So this first time I'm adding some black into my burnt sienna. So it's not black, but it's just, and then into my reds. I'm going to clean my brush. So my brush is clean, but there's a little paint on there. Because why? Because I've like, okay, I see something. I can't tell you how pivotal this is. Not saying it's, what am I trying to say? It's just the first discovery in the new stage of switching over from acrylic to oil. And so it's really valuable. It's extremely, like, I'm excited about it. But yet it's super trivial too. So it's just worth mentioning because I felt it inside, so I'm saying it out loud. Maybe there's like a wing here too. So because I brought out the burnt sienna and the black, right, as I mentioned, well, now you see I'm putting in other places. Interesting. Right? Gripping, riveting, fascinating, jaw-dropping, illuminating, earth-shattering. When it's not tacky, the paint's far from tacky, but there is some resistance because I sanded the acrylic layer down a little bit. So it's like sinking in, absorbing into the gesso behind it or into the previous layers. There's just grip from the sandpaper. It's just a nice, I like painting on that kind of, with a little bit of resistance. I make more gains. That I can't explain. You just have to try that out yourself. Maybe it's like a breast, maybe. Possibly. Like a Picasso style breast, right? It's going this way where everything else is going this way. Or like a cubism booby. Will there be genitalia in this? I'm not sure. There should be, right? Cherubs have genitalia. They get away with it. All the little cherubs, they always have their shit hanging out.
distracting everybody. Okay. Honest appraisal. Okay. Not much. A couple little revelations, a couple areas of progress, but overall nothing of significance. Do I even put a nibble there? I'm not sure. I don't want to get too caught up in anything specific for my own benefit. So I'm just continuing layering on my oil. Everything's pretty much covered. So that was kind of step one of the transition from acrylic to oil. Cover everything that needs to be covered. Obviously, you see I leave the background as is. I didn't touch the wings. I'm going to mix a new shade of flesh, skin color. I'm looking for a more orange skin. Looks like it's just skin in general. A very portrait pink skin. A little liquid in there. Again, we won't get caught up in that. You can see it here. My brush is loaded. Just flop it on there. Flop it on there. Still disconnected from a lot of this. But over the course of the next number of hours, you're going to see I'll be able to use these particular applications. They will tighten up. They will get tacky in the coming hours because of the liquid. So they give me, I wouldn't call it a base, but they give me something to work with in tandem with the following layers. I can even use them now, but they're still kind of transparent enough that they'll settle within hours, which is good. So you can see I'm picking areas now I like to highlight or at least raise in value. Like there's meaning, even though I don't see any meaning yet. Still holding on to the vision of creating an angel. I want to have more depth than just an obese, grotesque angel. I'm hoping there will be something more than that. Maybe I get let down. Maybe that's asking too much. Asking for too much, because maybe it just ends up being some sort of demonic thing here. I'm not sure. I don't have my glasses on. That's something I've talked about before. I'm not sure if it actually made it on camera, but the glasses for me are such a really cool thing. As I got older, I needed glasses. So right now, my vision's a little blurry. And then when I put on my glasses, everything becomes very vivid and even magnified. And that's when I get into the finer details. But I really take advantage of this blurry phase without my glasses. I find it to be really helpful, almost like a secret trick, a secret hack. But it's only come into existence in the last probably 5 or 6 years where I needed glasses. And I discovered, I couldn't believe how much I couldn't see you the first time I wore it. I'm like, oh my God, the glasses actually improved my work, because I was painting so long with a lack of vision and I didn't know it.
I really thought like my vision was fine until I put on the glasses. Luckily, I don't need anything too intense. My prescription's pretty minimal, just like reading glasses. But man, they made a big difference, and they make a big difference. It's like a new stage in the painting. So when I start to go in from as I mentioned, the carpenter analogy, when I start to get into the finishing carpentry stage, then I start to this might be actually like my full tutorial, because I think a lot of the time in the past too, I wasn't able to talk throughout the entire piece. So I found editing to be a bit of a challenge. Like when there's no talking, I just have to like play music. So now you're watching just me paint like this, but just with crappy old classical, like copyright free music. So it's kind of nice. I'm hoping I can get in a place where it's easy for me to keep flapping my gums to give you something to listen to. But then it's like, I don't know, you want to hear me talk for, like, if this painting takes 4 hours of me talking, I think there's got to be I got to stop and paint and then jump back in. I can't be talking the whole time I'm doing this. That's absurd. Because if this painting might actually be 6 hours. Heaven help us all. I haven't figured that out. But it's just a goal of mine to get monetized on YouTube. So I need to have like long form videos that people actually invest in. And I think if I can offer ideas and concepts as I paint, at least I'm giving you something. I'm not saying it's the most riveting content out there. But if you're kind of stuck in a place where getting started or putting stuff down, you can see how you just build off of nothing. You can build from nothing. You don't need something to start from. And hopefully if you think this piece in particular is complete trash, well, I would love it if you checked out some of my other work. There's some pieces I think are really strong, and some pieces are okay, and some pieces are not good. So you don't have to you don't have to like take everything I'm saying based on this particular painting. I'll try to make it good for you though. I'll try to make it so that someone would invest in it. I'll try to make it so that I'm satisfied. It's always my, I try to use the skills I've developed over years and bring them into this, even if it's a subpar concept, which actually I'm not ready to even concede yet. Like I don't necessarily think this is necessarily a bad painting. We're not there yet. That's still quite a ways. But I do think I need to take my advice and put you on hold and then come back as it's progressed a little bit. Otherwise, you're just going to hear me rambling nonsensically for way too long. And I don't want to go through and edit this, like start chopping up my words. And then it just becomes such a chore that I won't post it again. Love feedback on that. If what I'm saying right now makes where you think you can contribute to that dilemma that I'm having of making videos for YouTube that might benefit other people, but that makes it easy on me. Like what videos would they look like based on what I'm kind of doing right now? Is there any feedback or suggestions? Welcome. So I got it to this stage. I think I'm going to do some of the roughen carpentry. So kind of the second stage. We've already entered the second stage, but I mean, I'm going to do some of that on my own, play some tunes, come back to you in a moment's time. Okay.
where all the paint is on there. So on second thought, I'm going to backtrack the idea of like painting a bit and then coming back. Because because I'm so deep already, I just think it's in my best interest to have a full tutorial. So, you're just going to see the whole thing. And if it ends up being really long, so be it. But I was just about to paint and not record. And I thought that is probably not in my best interest overall, because I think if I should have had that strategy earlier in the painting, but I've already been talking for hours, so we'll just keep it going. And it's a good exercise for me to kind of talk, because I do want to monetize on YouTube, and I think in order to do that, we got to talk, because I don't really like watching videos when it's just kind of elevator music and then the artist painting. But I may have to do that sometimes, so forgive me if I end up doing that, because if there's just a period where I'm trapped in my own thoughts and I can't get the words out, I might put some tunes happening just to fill in the gap. But yeah, so this will be kind of maybe one of my first tutorials that even if it takes a really long time, so be it. So that's kind of interesting. Sometimes it's a little discouraging because we ended up with this as the painting that I'm describing the whole time. But I think what's good about this piece specifically is that it is abstract and very surreal and not just a standard portrait, because in this process you are diving deep into concept and imagination. And so I think it's worth something. Playing with your imagination is what it's all about. Playing with yourself is what really gets me up in the morning, gets me out of bed. Playing with my imagination, my ideas, my thoughts. It's what makes the earth spin for me. So when I have something so ridiculous like this piece, I don't stand behind the finished product and like proud to present it to the world, but I am glad that you're catching the journey of it unfold in real time, because it is so obscure and random and deeply like conceptual. So there's value in that. First time I just dropped some navy blue. Well, what are they? Cerulean blue. So it turns to greens and stuff, but just a little more casting a shadow. There is some resistance in the paint now. It's probably a little tacky. It still would be considered completely wet, but there's some drag on my brush strokes. I like that a lot. I did let it sit for about 30 minutes, give or take, which isn't really much to do anything, but you can notice some subtle. The paint is holding better than if it wasn't 30 minutes. That's about it. That's all you kind of get. Paint holds a little bit better. All right, you can see I am covering areas a little easier. So that's the progression, right? You slowly progress by covering up certain layers. We aren't going, even though I've added the blue and some of the darker value, we're not going too dark. All in the mid-range, just on the darker side versus the lighter side. I do like some of this,
Some of it I'm totally detached and have no feeling, or even there's a little uncertainty. We're going to grab some of my red and mid yellow. Because you remember when I put these wings in a number of stages ago, and then I used the yellow and just washed it into the painting. I love that yellow, that glaze that I added. So we're just getting some of that yellow flesh in here now. We're blending while applying, sculpting, defining. I don't have a crystal clear vision. That's okay. We're going to go orange again. And a little brighter orange. There'll be a drying period when I eat dinner today, and I think I'm making spaghetti, which is with just diced tomatoes. It is the biggest revolution of the year for me. So always typically would make spaghetti with pork, ground pork, but I would buy the cans of spaghetti sauce. And some are really good and some are horrible, like sweet and like just amateur. And some are delicious. But I bought diced tomatoes the other day, and it's like a really nice paste. It's not like clumpy. And man, it was so pure. It was like puree. And I can't wait to make kind of my own sauce from the diced tomatoes. So that will take some time. And the only reason I'm mentioning that is because that will again give this an opportunity to settle a little bit. Oils really take time, but there is a way to manage them throughout the day where you're kind of not playing with the layer anymore. You're able to build off of it versus just play with the same layers over and over again. So you can add it make sure you keep your liquid in here, but you can add it a little heavier. There's a bit of an impasto thing happening because of the acrylic. I like it. So I'm just adding a little more paint. Even if it's not dry, but it will hug the panel so that when I come back on it again after making dinner, I'll be able to really make some aggressive moves, and then once I make some aggressive moves, I'll really be able to finish the painting from that. Like I'll just use what I have. Let me say that again. So I'm just plotting out the rest of the day, and I'm trying to plot out how I'm going to manage and orchestrate this painting. Right now, the majority of it, if not all, is still basically completely wet. However, things get a little bit, they settle and they get a little tacky as the day goes on, especially because I'm using liquid, and liquid helps it dry relatively quite quickly. It's very hot here in Thailand, like extremely hot. There was like heat stroke advisories earlier this week, so it's hot. And that helps with the drying process. And when I say drying, I don't mean like I don't think anything will be touch dry today necessarily, but there'll be some parts that are close. And then when you have that as your base, like something that's tacky, you can make more dramatic decisions because the paint will hold. And then once you've made some decisions that are very dramatic and aggressive,
that's your direction, and then you finish it from that point of view. So that's how I'll be able to accomplish and bring it to a close today. But I do need that time, and what I'm building up is to that time where I give it a couple hours to sit, not settle, but just sit. I'm giving it some time to sit so that I can get dramatic. But I am right now trying to push it that way. That's why, like, you see some of the things I'm doing now, we're getting a little bit aggressive because I need it. Yeah, I just have a goal. This piece needs to be done today.